That's good. Now then, public participation. So Matthew Mark from the Christchurch City Mission. Is Matthew with us? So, Matthew, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Now, the nature of this public participation part of the meeting, it really is just an opportunity to make a short presentation to Council on a subject of your choosing. These items are limited to 5 minutes, so I can only give you 5 minutes this morning, which I know is limited, but we're certainly looking forward to hearing from you in that 5-minute slot. If you wanted to allow any time at the end for questions, that's your choice. You may want to take the whole 5 minutes with the presentation. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. So we're going to have George Blackmore is going to talk to some of the work that's being undertaken by our outreach team in the community. So George.
Hello, so my name's George, this is Don. Cool, so I'll jump straight into it. So the outreach service is a practice model and key tasks from the outreach service. The outreach service will operate from both the crisis and management intervention model. Outreach team will regularly be present on the streets to identify newly homeless clients and engage with others living on the streets. And this includes street collectors. Outreach team will respond to basic human needs of those living on the street and give them access to food, shelter, showers and washing facilities. Outreach team will respond to inquiries from the public regarding possibly homeless individuals. Outreach team will respond to inquiries from businesses, organisations regarding those who are possibly homeless. So through our service, we've been going for a year. And we've had 220 clients access the service, and these are through internal referrals from our food bank, social work intake and our day programs. And we've also got external referrals through MSD, Ministry of Justice, Public Hospital, Mental Health and other social service agencies. And we also get community referrals from members of the public, businesses and word of mouth. The next slide is just a quick overview of some of the spots that are currently occupied. So we've got 161 Hereford Street, the Academy on Manchester Street. We've got an empty section, 368 Colombo Street. We have a home on Hereford Street, 407, and this is just some of the dwellings, and this is sort of the softer side of where these guys are living and some of the spaces that we approach. So how does the average client present? So normally they'll have childhood trauma, which involves sexual, physical abuse, which will in turn involve mental health. Physical health will be impacted. Incarceration, biological, chronological, so their physical presentation won't match their age. Education skills will be limited and limited family supports. So trends and comparisons from last year, we're seeing a real increase in mental health clientele and pressures on mental health hospitals. So these guys are being discharged in the community. They do have case managers, however, they're bouncing between services, so they're basically left. They are medicated, however, they're struggling to fit anywhere. Physical health is a huge one as well, so a lot of these guys again are being discharged from hospital, coming to us, and they may have quite serious physical health needs. Increased numbers from prison again, it's just the pressure on the current system that's going on. So we're seeing a lot of guys being released with access to limited support, so they'll have no benefit, no accommodation, no ID, coming to us, and we'll try and quickly patch up what we can and get them integrated back into the community. And we're having a lot of clients coming from North Island, so we're not sure what this is yet, but we're having families, individuals coming down from the North Island, and we're sort of having to find out where they've come from specifically, gather information, and then adapt accordingly and try and support as best as we can. Emergency accommodation is becoming difficult to access, and this is just because of when it first came out, everyone pushed for it, and we're giving access to those. There's more access basically to be on the housing register. However, there's not enough houses at the moment. there's just not enough homes, but people are waiting on the register. There's not enough motels, so there's pressure again on us, but also for clientele, especially those that I'm dealing with, to get them access to these emergency accommodations. Oh, what was the last one there? Oh, and synthetic use. I mean, that's obvious, I think. Client access. So yeah, some of the challenges we face, client access to communication. So this is just basic things like cell phones and being able to talk to their case managers, probation officers, anywhere really. Identification, so they've got no birth certificate, 18 plus card, driver's license, or access to bank accounts and benefits. Clients won't meet the criteria for certain housing agencies, so again they're bouncing between several different services and they're not getting access to anything, and as a result they'll end up abandoned house, living on the street or sleeping in their car. Process and duration to access services, so this is basically the process to access housing can take up to 6 months. So they make a phone call, that phone call could take 45 minutes to talk to someone. They will then be given an appointment time, which could take up to 2 weeks, and then that 2 weeks is just an assessment. Once they have that assessment, they'll be given a rating. Now, if they're rating from 15 to 20, they'll be prioritised, but that could be up to a 6-month wait before they're given permanent housing. In that meantime, they may be given transitional housing, but again, there's a criteria with that, and there's box ticking that takes place, which these guys, a lot of our clientele, aren't going to fit those boxes. So again, they end up back to square one. Mental health, physical health, and Ministry of Justice, again, they'll have mental health concerns, physical health concerns, and they may have probation, bail conditions. They don't have an address, so therefore they'll be released. Then they've got to go back into the community, but again, they've sort of been set up to fail, so we'll try and do what we can to work them through that process and information gathering. So if they've come from the North Island, it's hard for us to access any of that information from up there. So we've just got to work really hard to communicate with.
We are beyond
Overtime,
5 minutes
cool.
at this point.
So that's pretty much it anyway. So.
All right. Well, look, thank you very much indeed for coming along and presenting that to us this morning. I mean, clearly some big issues there that certainly would bear more than just a 5-minute presentation.
Yeah.
But thank you very much indeed for presenting that to us this morning, and thank you for the work that you're doing as well. Thank you.